fall. They wanna see if I make it. With my back against the wall, put my head to the sky. No one won't let them break me. I got great expectations. Great expectations.
Yeah, all the stares and all the glares, they waiting on them. And all the weight from all the hate is gaining on them. The intensity as it rises, nobody can disguise it. It's like he got fire in his eyelids. The crowd is roaring, it's so enormous, his blood is boiling. His head is down and he's focused, he wishes they'd ignore him. Who in their right mind wants to let his light shine? He ain't even in his prime, pressure of a lifetime. He's standing steady, head sweaty, maybe nervous but ready. The skepticism lies heavy, he's about to make it petty. He got his fam on his back, not to carry like Chevy. So much on his plate, he hopes the repercussions ain't deadly. But he
Yo. Welcome to another episode of the Wrightway Show, live on the Wrightway Sports Network YouTube channel. I'm your host of the Wrightway Sports Network, Malik Wright, joined with my co-host, Mr. Max Marrero in the building. What's going on, Max?
Good. I'm back at Clemson. I'm happy to be here, and let's have a good show.
Are you happy to be there, though?
Well, I know we had a tough game this past week, but we'll move past it.
Right. We'll definitely talk more and more about Clemson's game against Ohio State as the show goes on. We've got Daniel Alameda in the building, the Cali kid, for at least a couple more days before he heads back to Arizona. Daniel, how you doing?
Amazing, man. It's been a great start to the year, and just ready to hopefully ruffle some feathers tonight. We'll see about it.
The controversial king, man. Okay. Well, guys, make sure you guys follow us on our respective social medias. Follow us at the Wrightway Sports Network on Twitter, at TWSN and TWSN on Instagram. Make sure you download the TWSN mobile app. Got a lot going on. Got a lot of draft content coming out. We're pretty excited for it. Got a jam-packed show, a lot of stuff we want to talk about today. But, guys, I want to bring in a special guest, one of our writers, a good friend of mine. We grew up together, Mr. Liam Hobie. He is also a fan of Clemson, so we're going to bring him in here for the first topic of the show. Liam, what's going on, my man?
Happy to be here, guys. What's up?
Awesome. So we're going to jump right into it. Listen, Ohio State, shocks the entire world. Maybe not Ohio State fans, but they shock the entire world. And they knock off the Clemson football Tigers, right? I believe Dabo Swinney said that they're an 11th ranked team. If he had to rank them, he said that he would rank Ohio State as the 11th best team in the nation. Well, that certainly turned out to bite him. Before we jump into the conversation, I got to ask you guys the question. What was your thoughts on that game? What was your thoughts on those comments by Dabo Swinney? Liam, you're the guest. I'll let you go first.
I mean, what's to say? Pain would definitely be the first thing I felt. But honestly, like looking at it from a deeper point of view a few days after the fact, I'm kind of happy we got smoked. Let's be honest. If it wasn't Ohio State, it would have definitely been Bama. And I really don't think I wanted another Bama shellacking on our resume, honestly. I think that Clemson could use a little bit of humbling. I think specifically Dabo could use a little bit of humbling, and I hope that this kind of lights a fire under the program.
Okay, Max, what was your take on that?
I agree with a lot of what Liam said. I mean, look, you would think that after getting destroyed by Joe Burrow and the LSU Tigers last year, that they'd come in with a little bit of vengeance and with a little bit of that sense of wanting to win it all, especially in Trevor's last year as a Tiger. Unfortunately, we didn't see that. We fell short, and deservedly so. I mean, look, Dabo's going to keep using the argument. Well, if they only played 6 games, they don't deserve to be here. I get it, but you shouldn't be calling out the team you're playing, the 11th best team in the country, right before the game. And also, you know what? I don't know if you guys saw the graphic during the game where I think it was Justin Fields working out at the weight room, at the Ohio State weight room, and there's like the TV is playing the scoreboard and the game between Clemson and Ohio State last year. So, you're just adding more fuel to the fire of motivation here. So I just don't see why Dabo needs to go that, needs to be controversial in any way to a team that's already determined to get the revenge. And honestly, to Liam's point again, I agree with the fact that as much as I hate seeing my team lose, I think they needed to, and I think they're going to be better for it in the long run.
Okay. Danny, you have anything else anything different from these guys that you want to add to this? Okay, well, we'll jump right into the question of the day. Obviously, a lot of people, not me, but a lot of people, again, not me, but a lot of people are saying that Trevor Lawrence is quarterback 2 in the draft class. I think, let me just get this out there right now. I think that's absolutely asinine. I think it's ridiculous. I think, in Daniel's favorite word to use, it's recency bias, and it's just not true. It's not true. Even in a losing effort, Trevor Lawrence still played like one of the best quarterbacks. He did. Threw for 400 yards. He had a good game. Now, there are some issues I have with the whole Trevor Lawrence hype. But let's not mistake that for Trevor Lawrence being the best quarterback in this draft class. It's been that way. Now, when people say Trevor Lawrence is the greatest quarterback since John Elway, that's what people like to throw out. He's the greatest quarterback since John Elway, or he's the greatest quarterback since Andrew Luck, or whatever the case may be. I'm not ready to say that just yet, because let me tell you why, guys. I think that when the stakes are at its highest, right? We've seen Trevor Lawrence, beat Bama. What was that, his freshman year, guys? He did that? Yeah. He beat Bama his freshman year, won the national championship as a freshman, and he had all this hype coming in. But it just seemed like, I don't know. I haven't seen that jump from Trevor Lawrence that I was expecting to see necessarily, where it's like he's clear cut the best. And it could be a coaching thing. It could certainly be because it was certainly a coaching thing in Justin Herbert's favor. It was certainly a coaching thing in Justin Herbert's favor. I mean, everybody was writing him off. Everybody was writing Justin Herbert off, saying Justin Herbert, we don't know what he's going to be. He's going to have to wait a year to start. And the guy came in and lightened the league up. He certainly didn't start at the beginning either, but he certainly lit the league up. I'm just saying, let's slow down on the comparisons in terms of Trevor Lawrence, because to me, it seems like when he has a bunch of pressure on him, and that's a lot for a guy, right? He's still a young guy. He's trying to come back, but I see him make a lot of mental errors, like the fumbling and different things of that nature. And once again, that's expected. But let's not be so quick to call him a bust or he's not better than this guy or that guy. I think that's absolutely asinine. And Ohio State fans, congratulations on beating the Clemson Tigers. But Trevor Lawrence is still better than Justin Fields. But Liam, go ahead. What are your thoughts on that?
I think Trevor's got the tools. Yeah. And while you don't want to always draft for the tools, we've seen project quarterbacks fail here and there. I don't think Trevor's a project at all. And I truly think that the skill jump for a quarterback really happens after getting into the league, if anything. I think once you stop that school responsibility and you start playing football 24/7, you're in that film room 24/7, I think you're going to see that skill jump from Trevor go way up. And let's not forget that a lot of these issues that we've got with Trevor, the decision-making, the inaccuracy, are all things that we said about Deshaun Watson a few years ago. He's turned it around.
Yeah. Max?
Yeah, I think Trevor Lawrence is by far the best quarterback in this draft class. I mean, let's look at Justin Fields by far. Let's look at Justin Fields, right? I agree he had an outstanding game against Clemson, and he deserves all the hype that comes to him because, he played really well. But let's look at his games against Indiana, ninth-ranked Indiana at the time. They won that football game, but he threw for 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, 2 interceptions in the first, I want to say the first quarter, if not the first half. Played terrible. Then you have the Big Ten championship game against Northwestern, where he didn't throw a single touchdown and he threw for 2 interceptions. And if it wasn't for Trey Sermon in that run game, they probably wouldn't have won that football game. Yeah. So is he the guy that I think can propel a bad franchise like the Jets to that next level? No, but I do think that if you put him in a situation, say Atlanta, where he'd sit behind a Matt Ryan for a year or two, he can develop, and you give him those weapons like a Calvin Ridley, maybe the last few years of a Julio, I think he could be a real star in the league.
I want to tap into what you just said there. That was my big thing that I was making. A buddy of mine and me were sitting down watching the game. He's like, what was it that we just watched? I said, listen, this is exactly what you just watched. You watched Trevor Lawrence as a starting quarterback. No offense, Max, your team is not a bad team, but your offense was coordinated bad that night. Obviously, your offense coordinator was out due to COVID complications. We certainly hope that everything's good with him and he comes back healthy. But the fact of the matter is, we saw a look of how Trevor Lawrence is going to look like as the starting quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars. We saw a Trevor Lawrence that's all the while he's going to be good. He could eventually even be great. This shows you that he too will struggle because as amazing as Trevor Lawrence is, when it comes to uplifting a bad franchise, and when I say a bad franchise, I want to be very, very careful when I say that. A bad football team, I'll say. when it comes to uplifting a bad football team who is currently a bad football team from an offensive standpoint, that's not something that I think Trevor Lawrence can do just yet. That's just not something I think he can do just yet. I could be wrong, but we'll see. I expect him to struggle. I expect him to struggle like many rookie quarterbacks do in the league. But that doesn't mean he's a bust. Daniel.
Listen, like, I'm basically going to go off of what Malik said. Trevor Lawrence is the number one quarterback in this class. But if Joe Burrow was in this class,
yeah, talk about it.
I'm not going to say it, but maybe I would take Joe Burrow over him. Listen, Trevor Lawrence, he's a generational talent. Yes. The physical tools are there, obviously, but he's not without his flaws. Max, you were talking about Justin Fields' bad games. Last year, Trevor Lawrence had 3 games where he threw 2 interceptions, and those were teams that shouldn't have even been in the game. Right, Trevor Lawrence, there's times where he has lapses. Like, he has all the arm talent in the world, but it's sometimes he's not as consistent as I would like. And I'm not that high on Justin Fields. I wish I was, because I would have made this a better competition between him and Lawrence for the quarterback one.
He played his ass off, though. He played his ass off
He did. And if Justin Fields, our guy Mike Piccarelli said, is there a scenario where Jacksonville takes Justin Fields? If Justin Fields goes out and plays lights out against Alabama, I'm just saying.
Daniel, the Jacksonville ownership would be doing a disservice to their fans. They'd be doing a disservice to their city. They'd be doing a disservice to their franchise if they did not take Trevor Lawrence over Justin Fields. I think people would riot and people would be very upset.
But there's a chance.
Here's the one thing. Here's the one thing I caution with. Right. Here's the one thing I caution with. We say generational. Well, let's put this into real facts. Somebody pull up Justin Herbert's stats. You know, pull up his stats throughout his 4 years, or his 4 years at Clemson, or 3 years at Clemson. Pull up his stats. When we say generational, hold on, huh?
Lawrence, or you said?
I said Lawrence. When we say generational, I want to be very, very careful when we use that word, because we hear that word get thrown out a lot. He's a generational passer. He's this, that, and the third. But I think we're saying that because we look at Justin Herbert. I mean, we look at Trevor Lawrence and we see the intangibles. That's a key word that I love and I also hate, because a lot of guys had the intangibles. Paxton Lynch had the intangibles, right? But it's about putting the intangibles together. This is not me knocking him. But when we talk about Trevor Lawrence head and shoulders being the best quarterback, to your point, Daniel, you're absolutely right. I'm not saying this as I'm a Bengals fan. I do love the Cincinnati Bengals. I do love Joe Burrow. He is our quarterback. But the fact of the matter is, when you watch Joe Burrow play for LSU last year, you knew he was the best quarterback in the nation. There was no questions about it. You saw it the way he played on the field. It looked like he was pro ready already. Trevor Lawrence, you still see the mental lapses at times. That's not me knocking him, but it's a fact. So when it comes
let's talk about Joe Burrow outside of last season, right? He was a above average quarterback. I mean, his weapons got progressively better. He developed as a quarterback, no doubt. And listen, I admit Joe Burrow is a phenomenal talent, and we even saw it with the Bengals when he played. It's just, I think the sample size is larger for Lawrence. I think Lawrence has been able to do it with way worse talent. Even though, don't get me wrong, Clemson has absolutely incredible talent. But you look at what Burrow had. He had Justin Jefferson, who's now, I would say, the best rookie wide receiver there is right now. Also, he had Jamar Chase, who's going to go probably top 5, if not top 10 this next year. He had a stellar offensive line, and he has power all around him.
I think the one thing that we're missing with that is, the guys that we're naming that Joe Burrow had, and I don't want to make this about Joe. I really sincerely don't want to make this about Joe Burrow, but because I don't want people to think you're being biased. You're just talking about Joe Burrow. But the fact is, a lot of those guys that we're just naming also were transfers. They were cast-offs from their other team, and they transferred to LSU, just like Joe Burrow did. Joe Burrow's first year at LSU, he didn't have an offseason with his guys, and he still put up not great numbers, but not bad numbers. He put up good numbers. He put up solid numbers. He put up numbers that you wouldn't expect from a guy that's, I think he threw 6 interceptions and had, 18 touchdown passes, something like that. And then he got an offseason with his guys, and they did this. Whoa, right? He comes in the league, and he shocks everyone. He's still playing, at a high level. To me, I just think that Joe Burrow's a guy that uplifts the talent around him. Now, we're seeing, obviously, those guys that he played with are going to go top of the draft. Justin Jefferson, in my opinion, should win Rookie of the Year. But the fact of the matter is, listen, I think when we're comparing Joe Burrow and Trevor Lawrence, I don't know. I don't want to do that, but I'll just say Trevor Lawrence, to me, I just want to see, I need to see more. I need to see more before I'm like, he's right. He's going to be the next thing, best thing since sliced bread.
I think you have to temper the numbers a bit, just because if you look at the number of games where Trevor was pulled in the third quarter, even sometimes even before then, I mean, Trevor didn't finish games all last season. We're up at 20, 30, and Trevor's on the sidelines for the fourth quarter.
No,
now,
it's true.
I can't say that that's for sure going to hurt his development or help it either. I definitely would have liked to have seen him out there for some fourth quarters. I would have loved for him to pad his stats. But that definitely affects his numbers for sure.
Okay. And let's switch over to our next topic, guys. Who do you guys got winning the national championship game? I know who I got winning the national championship game. Daniel, I'm gonna let you start this one off.
Roll Tide, baby. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Let's go. We're back. Everybody thought I was an LSU fan all last year because I was rooting for Joe Burrow. No. It's still Roll Tide. It's still Bama, baby. I'm excited for it.
I saw Jalen Waddle walking off of that bus.
Yeah.
And if Jalen Waddle plays, like, listen, Alabama's unstoppable. As much as I love Ohio State, and as much as I want to see Justin Fields make this a competition, it's going to be a close ball game. But the reality is, this Alabama offense is going to be unstoppable. I'm sorry, you can't stop them. Mac Jones, he's one of my favorite quarterbacks in this draft class. He's going to have another good game. And I'm sorry, the weapons on this offense just ridiculous. And even their defense, you got first-round talents everywhere. It's Roll Tide, man.
It's Roll Tide. I love it. Max, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I like Alabama by 2 scores here. I mean, I just think, look, Ohio State's secondary has been a question all year. They played lights out against Clemson, but I would like to attribute that more on, they were just motivated. They were the better team. They were motivated that night. And frankly, look, I think I don't know if they're going to show up against this high-powered offense, especially if Jalen Waddle, like Daniel said, if he shows up. I just don't know if the secondary can contain that high-powered offense. Yeah, and I think if it ends up being a kind of a shootout, because I do think Alabama's defense is susceptible to conceding some points as much as I think they're talented. Sure. I'm going to take Alabama here because I just think that in a shootout it suits Alabama much better.
My man, appreciate you. Liam, what do you think?
I don't even see myself picking against Bama. They looked unreal against Notre Dame. I think Ohio State looks good, but at the end of the day, how you bet against Nick Saban?
Joey Burrow stands, my man. I think you follow me on Twitter, and we appreciate your support here at the Wrightway Sports Network. Let me explain something to you, though, my brother. There's a difference between Alabama and Clemson. Put some respect on our name. We're not going to falter. Like, listen, we appreciate what you guys did this year, and I feel bad. I feel bad. Whoever you're lining Sean Wade up against, that's who we're attacking. Whoever you're lining Sean Wade up against, that's who we're attacking. Is he going to cover Dervonte Smith? I wouldn't do that. Is he going to cover Waddle? I wouldn't do that. So, like I said, I know you said that's what Clemson said. You guys had all the firepower and all the motivation to beat Clemson, but my brother, we aren't Clemson. And I expect Alabama Crimson Tide to get another chip, to get another natty. So that's going to be very, very exciting to see how that all shakes out. Guys, enough about college football. Moving on. The reason why Liam is on the topic, because Liam is a diehard Giants fan. He covered the Jacksonville Jaguars this year for us, but diehard Giants fan. Liam, I got to first and foremost say I apologize, right? I apologize because I know a lot of Giants fans were excited. A lot of Giants fans were like, Eagles, Eagles. Or whatever the Eagles saying is. I don't even know what they say. I'm yelling the Jets, right? But they were that's Eagles, Eagles. Yeah, I'm not crazy. That's what they said. But anyway, the Eagles are supposed to come through for you guys. Do you think the situation of Doug Peterson benching what's his name? Jalen Hurts for Nate Sudfeld.
Hey, Crimson Tide though.
Yeah. Nate. Yeah. But benching him for Nate Sudfeld. Were you disgusted with that decision? Or did you have a different, viewpoint from Giants fans? Do you think we're making too much of the whole Doug Peterson, you are a disgrace to the NFL, you blah, blah, blah? Or do you?
I mean, like, I'm definitely upset. Yeah. I'm upset the Giants missed the playoffs, but I'm not upset with the Eagles.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, let's be honest. When have we ever gone into the last game of the season needing something from the Philadelphia Eagles and come out okay.
Right.
Do I need to remind everyone about the Miracle of the Meadowlands?
Yeah.
My heart still breaks from that. I can't watch it. So, I think this Giants season wasn't disappointing. Honestly, I feel a lot of promise in the franchise.
As you should.
I feel a lot of promise under Joe Judge.
As you should.
I thought there was a ton of good takeaways from this season. Mm-hmm. We did a lot of things bad as well. I mean, we lost 5 games by 1 possession this season. 5.
Bengals.
Including a game to the Eagles with an Evan Ingram drop. I think that you get some of those games back. You get those 2 losses when Danny had his hamstring blown out. I think that changes the season some. But at the end of the day, it's on the New York Giants to win games and get into the playoffs. I didn't expect the Eagles to go out and do that for us. So
I get the sense.
At the end of the day, you have to do enough to make it to the playoffs. And if you're facing another team, you haven't done
this
enough.
This is a real Giants fan right here. This is
I like
real.
This. I like this. But let me put something into focus. Washington football team, Philadelphia Eagles, New York Football Giants, Dallas Cowboys. None of you deserve to make it to the playoffs this year. None of you. Even though you made it, none of you deserved it. So you're like, I got some Giants fans that are like, screw the Eagles. They screwed us and blah, 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 blah. But let's not kid ourselves. We didn't deserve it. It's like teams in the AFC are literally, I know Max is a Dolphins fan. Daniel's a Patriots fan. We're literally sitting over on the other aisle looking like these teams make the playoffs. I'm pretty sure if the Patriots are in that division, they're the first, they win the division. The Miami Dolphins run away with the division. I mean, but I just think that for the sake of the NFL, the level of play in the NFC East has to improve. It's to me, I don't like seeing teams with below 500 records make the playoffs. I don't think it's right. I don't think it's right to see other teams that have we look at the Miami Dolphins, who I said they were pretenders, guys. By the way, remember. Oh
my God, we're not doing this again.
Oh my God, no! But I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I hate you right now.
I sat on here on this show and
I remember that.
Yes, you did say it.
No, but you look at Miami Dolphins, they had an amazing season last year after, having a high draft pick. They wind up they had an amazing season this season.
Oh, this year.
Oh, no. Yeah. I'm already focused on next year, brother. I'm already focused on
that's the way. Hey, I agree.
All right. So Penei Sewell. But you guys listen. You guys had an amazing season this year after coming off of not even a horrendous season, but an improvement season last year. And so the fact to see you guys make the strides and, win 10 games and stuff like that and finish second in your division, that was awesome to see. But the fact that you guys they're missing the playoffs, it sucks because then you look across the aisle, like I said, you see NFC teams making the playoffs with below 500 records. But does anybody else have anything to add about that?
Doug Peterson, I'm not as mad as everybody else because the reality is Jalen Hurts wasn't playing all that well. I'm not denying the fact that Hurts gives the Eagles a better chance than Sudfeld did. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, Jalen Hurts wasn't playing all that well. 7 for 20, an interception, missed a wide open guy in the end zone. But at the same time, you also see their players coming out. Miles Sanders says he disagreed. You got their players saying, they were restrained from their head coach. You got to look at your locker room, man. Everything matters inside the locker room. And if your guys aren't happy, if you're making your players go out there and give their 100%, why are you not? So that's my bone to pick with Doug Peterson.
I just got one question, and it's not for Doug. It's not for Eagles. I really want to ask Jeffrey Lurie, why is Doug Peterson still the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles? Genuinely. I genuinely want to know, why? If this is the type of nonsense and chaos that's going on in your locker room right now, it's only going to go into next season. These players aren't going anywhere. They're going to be here next year.
I guess that Super Bowl ring just weighs too much.
It's a Mickey Mouse ring, right? No, I'm joking. But no, you look at it and we're like, all these other coaches are getting fired around the league. And this guy over here who benched Carson Wentz, albeit he deserved it, but you're going to get on that stuff and say, we still believe in Carson Wentz. We believe the relationship is fixable. No, you don't. That's why you made him inactive and you decided to play Nate Sudfeld in the season finale in Jalen Hurts over Carson Wentz. Who are we kidding? So I feel bad for the Philadelphia Eagles because I know how this story is going to play out. They're going to go into next season. They're going to struggle. He's going to rally off a couple wins at the end, and they're going to wind up firing him. This is like, you should already just clean house. Just clean house and get it over with. You keeping him obviously shows the team doesn't have respect for him. The player and the leaders of the team don't have respect for him. The damn quarterback and Carson Wentz doesn't have respect for him. But you're keeping him on just to save face. I'm just confused. I don't know. I'm genuinely confused about the whole Doug Peterson thing. But if I'm the Dallas Cowboys, if I'm the New York Football Giants, if I'm the Washington Football Team, who I think is the best team in that division, I say thank you, Jeffrey Lurie. Thank you for keeping Doug Peterson, because that's one more team that we do not have to worry about next year. And guess what? It's no place like Philly. Brotherly love, right? So we want to keep it. Okay, good, Danny. Go ahead.
Pretenders because of the quarterback. Max, I just want to ask you real quick thoughts on Tua.
We got to talk about that, Max. We want to talk about Viola.
Like the rumors saying
he's the future, man. He's the future quarterback. Give the guy some weapons. Think about it like this: if you look at the past month, Devontae Parker's been out. He just finally played since that Kansas City game. Actually, he got hurt mid-game, and he hasn't played since until the Bills game, which we didn't really need him because we were terrible. Even Jakeem Grant, that guy, even when he touches the football field, all he does is drop the football. He's not really good as a kick returner, and he was also hurt for the past few weeks. Mac Hollins, you saw it against I'm sure you guys all saw the game against the Raiders. Mac Hollins is a practice squad guy. There's a reason why he can't catch an open football or an open pass, because he's a bum. I'm sorry, he's a bum. He's a practice squad receiver. That's just the honest truth. That was, by the way, biggest shocker when Fitzpatrick threw that pass wasn't even the pass. It was the fact that Mac Hollins caught the football. Let's get it straight, okay? That was the shocker. And also, look, Mike Gesicki, right? Mike Gesicki has been Tua's most reliable weapon, but even he got dinged up. He was dinged up for like a week or two. The Raiders game was his first time back, and he even had a limited snap count. Give Tua some weapons, maybe even improve the offensive line, which frankly I know. Listen, compared to years past, it's a significant improvement. The rookies, they're going to keep getting better. I'm starting to trust the offensive line, but give my guys some weapons, please. Let's draft a receiver, and we'll get the best version of Tua. And also, I have to mention this. Chan Gailey, the offensive coordinator of the Dolphins, is not it. I'm sorry. He's not it. We brought him in because he was a familiar face for Ryan Fitzpatrick. He was his former head coach at Buffalo. His play calling is just not suited to the modern NFL. It's just terrible. And honestly, Tua looks bad because of it. Give Tua a new offensive coordinator, give him some weapons, and then we can accurately analyze him.
Thank you.
Devonte Smith. Congratulations to Devonte Smith for winning the Heisman Trophy. I don't know the last receiver to win a Heisman Trophy, but congratulations to him. You are not better than Jamar Chase, but you are certainly a good player, and I look forward to the Miami Dolphins drafting you, pairing you up with Tua.
Yeah, and that's Max. Like, you hit the nail on his head there. I've just been so irritated, man. Like, Tua, he had a great game against the Cardinals earlier this year. He looked like a franchise quarterback, and I'm not going to bail on him. The guy had no preseason. He had barely any training camp. And I was heading into the season saying he needs a full year to sit behind a quarterback. It's not like he played like a bum. People are just looking at Justin Herbert and expecting every rookie quarterback to look like him. It's not going to happen, and I'm sorry. I'm not going to write off a guy based off of 1 year. It's not happening.
And might I also add that while this is no disrespect to Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert, those two quarterbacks have significantly better weapons than Tua, and that's obviously helped their development. And I don't think I'm wrong in saying that. No. You give Tua those weapons, I don't know if he'll play as good as Burrow or Herbert, but I know for sure he'd be a lot more efficient. People wouldn't be questioning him the same way.
And I think we also got to remember he's coming back from a major injury. I'm talking about things that like change your career. But you know, like I said, we'll see how it all shakes out. I am excited for the draft season. I'm excited. I'm pumped up. Liam, I want to thank you so much for joining us on the show, my man.
Thanks,
seriously,
man.
to have you back on. I mean, you do some amazing work here for TWSN. Liam, tell them where to follow you at on Twitter, man. Give our guy a follow.
All right. Well, first of all, much love, everybody. I appreciate you guys having me. You can find me on Twitter at my name, Liam Hobby, LiamHobbie. I'm going to transition soon from Jacksonville coverage to hockey. Yeah. If you're a fan of the New York Rangers, stay tuned for my work. I'm going to try and publish some thoughts here about the Giants now that I've kind of digested a bit. So look forward to my stuff.
Absolutely. We appreciate you, Liam. My brother, I hope you have a great night, my man. We'll talk to you.
Later, guys.
See ya. That was Liam Hobby. Super excited to have him on. We got another guy coming on, joining us, one of our guys here at TWSN. He is the editor here at TWSN. He also does some amazing articles, amazing work. He is my favorite Steelers fans, guys. If anybody of you guys know me, I hate the Steelers. Can't stand the Steelers. Can't stand their fan base. Sorry, but it's just how it is. But this guy is kick-ass. He's awesome. He does great work. He is also one of the hosts of the TWSN football kickoff show alongside Max Marrero. We got Joe Kimrod in the building. Joe, what's going on, man?
Nothing much. How about you guys? Enjoying the show so far. Thank you for having me on.
See, you had to troll me, right? You had to troll me. You came on today and you wore yellow. You know that bugs me out, man. Yet, I couldn't just, you couldn't just let it be. You know, you couldn't wear, throw on like a blue shirt. No, I'm kidding with you, man, obviously. But thank you for joining us on the show. So the reason why we actually obviously have you on is we want to talk about, this upcoming Wildcard Weekend matchup against the Cleveland Browns. The Pittsburgh Steelers lucked out again. Unfortunately, the Cleveland Browns came down, unfortunately, with a case of COVID that affected the man behind the Cleveland Browns' big turnaround, and it affected their head coach, Kevin Stefanski. Let me ask you this. Listen, we all know you guys are going to win this game, right?
No, not at all.
No?
I'm not convinced.
I don't think we know, but
I've seen this team do stupid things, so I'm ready for it.
So I'm going to bypass it as if in the mindset that the Steelers are going to win the game.
Okay.
Is this it? Do they win? Do they win one and then they're out the next week? Or what is your level of confidence in the franchise? Are you going to be one of those Steelers fans that are down right now and then next week comes and you're like, yeah, the week after that, you're like, yeah, we won. So we're hyped. We're good. We can actually make a run. Ben's got it together.
I genuinely don't know. I really think it's going to be depending on how Ben plays this weekend. Because, here's how my view of it is. I think our defense is starting to finally get healthy again. We're getting Robert Spillane back soon. Alex Highsmith looked great this past weekend against the Browns. Obviously, Terrell Edmonds should be back and healthy. So, the defense, I'm not really worried about them. Obviously, they played well against the Bills with one starting inside linebacker, right? They allowed, I think, 18 points in total that game. And one score that the Bills had was from a pick six, and that was right in there, right when they got rolling. But if Ben can throw the deep ball, I have confidence that we can maybe make it to the AFC Championship game. I don't think we'll knock off the Chiefs, but you never know. However, if Ben's just going to be dinking and dunking the whole time,
why not the Bills? Why not the Bills? You just automatically shoo the Chiefs in there.
No, they would play the Bills.
We would play the Bills next week. That's why.
So you're assuming that you guys could beat the Bills?
Correct. If this all is if Ben can get that deep ball going. Because if he can't, no, we're going to lose to the Bills, no doubt in my mind. Because then you could just jam the receivers and do what they did last time. But if
you know who their safeties are, by chance, you know who their safeties are in Buffalo?
Doesn't matter. I'll trust Seven's deep ball if it's going against anyone. I really don't
Micah
care.
Hyde, Jordan Poyer.
You don't care?
White, you don't
care?
All right, here's one of my hot takes, right? Ben Roethlisberger, top 5 pump fake of all time. I don't care. If he could pump fake, I don't care who your safety is. I don't care if it's Ronnie Lott, Ed Reed, or Troy Polamalu. You're not going to stop that. You're not going to stop.
What if it's Bessie Bates?
Doesn't matter.
What if it's Von Bell?
Doesn't matter, man.
Quarterback?
No.
But again, it's all if he can get the deep ball going and our offense opens up. Yes, I think we have a chance to do something. But if not, no, absolutely not.
Respectfully, I want to say you guys have no chance of beating the Bills. But continue, Max. Max, what are your thoughts?
I have to respectfully agree with that take, unfortunately, for Joe here. Because, look, as much as I think the Steelers are a really good football team, unfortunately, they have taken some losses on the defense. And the offense really hasn't been as efficient as they have been in the first half of the season. And a lot of that is because the run game has been deemed irrelevant. Against the Bills.
Who's the number one receiver in Pittsburgh?
Well, no, I have no – you know what? For me, that's not even the issue because I think they distribute – I think Ben Roethlisberger distributes the football pretty well, and I think he gets the best out of his receivers. But and frankly, I'm under the belief that those teams that don't necessarily have a definitive number one can still succeed, and I think they will succeed because when you spread out the football, you get the best out of everyone. Whatever, I'm not going to get into that. Yeah. But the point is, Do I think they'll beat the Browns? I think they absolutely will. Would I be surprised if the Browns upset them? No, because as you know, in the NFL playoffs, any team can beat any other team, right? We saw it with the Titans last year, beat the Ravens in Baltimore, for example. So I'm not going to completely write off the Browns, but I do think the Steelers will win. But I do think they're a one and done team because I think the Bills. I use this analogy like with LSU last year, and don't get me wrong, I know the Chiefs are still the team to beat in the AFC, but LSU, you could put them against any great team. They are more than capable of beating them, and they did, right? They did that. This Bills team, I think this is the peak of the Bills team. That's not to say they won't be as good next year, but I just don't think they'll be as good. This is the peak of the Bills.
You're going to lose Brian Dable probably.
This is their prime. They're going to lose Brian Dable, to your point. He's going to be a head coach. Who's to say that offense is going to be nearly as efficient? I mean, he's a great coordinator. He's great at what he does, right? So I just think this is the Bills' year. I don't know if I'm going to pick them to beat the Chiefs right now, but I just don't think the way that the Steelers have been playing on the offensive side, if that's sustainable in a game against the Bills that have the hottest offense in the entire NFL. So I'm not going to quite say that the Steelers can get it done against the Bills.
Daniel, hot take, Daniel.
No, I have to agree with you guys. Like, obviously, I'm concerned because you can always make the case for if a Steelers defense comes in and plays on fire and completely stifles Josh Allen and the Bills. But like Max said, Max made a great point. This could be the peak of the Bills team. And I'm sorry, the way they've been playing, the last 3 games, they've averaged 46 points a game. Mm-hmm. Josh Allen is playing absurd, and this offense is rolling. And their defense started off this year bad, right? They were arguably got killed by the Titans, even against the Steelers. Their offense wasn't moving the ball. But I'm sorry, man. This Bills team's too hot. And Big Ben, the Steelers offense, Joe, I'm sorry. Can't trust you guys' offense. No run game.
I can't either, though.
And like you made a great point about Big Ben's pump fakes, but I'm sorry, man.
This is all reliant on Ben playing and actually able to throw the ball deep, and our offense is competent against the Browns. Right. If not, again, I don't think so.
Right.
So, it's gonna be
however, I will say this.
Yeah.
I'm not scared of the Bills, man. I'm really not. I maybe it's just because we played one of our worst games of the season and we kept it close and we didn't really let them do much on offense. Like they were in the midst of right in the midst of their stretch where they were going crazy this season. Obviously, they've been doing it for 5 weeks now. Right in the middle of there, the Steelers defense with one inside linebacker and no Joe Hayden held them to 18 points. And you're telling me you get Joe Hayden back, you're getting Robert Spillane back, you're getting Vince Williams back for that. You don't think? And Alex Highsmith is now having started multiple games. You don't think they can do something right there?
Who?
Alex Highsmith.
Robert Spillane? Who that?
Robert Spillane's been good this season, man.
Yeah, okay. So listen, I'll play devil's advocate here. The one thing that the Steelers are going to have is experience. So, I mean, experience really comes down in the play. It really comes down to experience in the playoffs. We literally saw this Patriots team, Daniel's Patriots team, his New England Patriots team, go into the playoffs time and time again and win matchups that they shouldn't win. Against teams that were hot throughout the entire season. Remember how good the Chiefs were all those years? And then they would go into Foxborough, play New England, and they would just fizzle out. It's a real thing. And I'm not saying that's necessarily going to happen when a team plays Pittsburgh, but that team is experience, man. Big Ben is experience. I would not shock me if the Pittsburgh Steelers ripped everything up and starting in the playoffs, they find a way to run the ball effectively. It wouldn't shock me. Because we've seen this thing, we've seen this story before where this Pittsburgh Steelers team just finds a way to gut it out, just finds a way to be there in the end. So it'll be interesting to see. So I'm not going to totally just crap on your team, Joe, even though I can't stand your franchise. I just think that the chances of you guys going, I think you guys beat the Browns, but I think the Bills game, it's where things get a little bit dicey for me personally. It'll be exciting to see. I mean, you could potentially catch Brian Dable focusing on head coaching gigs, and he can have an off day coordinating a game. We don't know. We'll see.
I will say this.
It should be exciting.
I will say this. I want Baker to start on Sunday. I'm more scared of facing the Browns backup than I am Baker Mayfield.
Baker starting.
Well, I'm saying if he somehow gets COVID because of the whole outbreak that's going on right now.
Gotcha. I would want to play Baker for Mayfield too. And luckily, we don't have the Baker Mayfield stand on here tonight. And Jake Circus, who absolutely just loves Baker Mayfield. He's the biggest Baker Mayfield guy. He's a big Baker Mayfield believer. Big Baker believer. The triple B.
It's not even that Baker's bad. It's just that the Steelers don't know.
No, Baker's bad. Baker's bad. Baker's bad.
It's not bad.
He's not that bad.
System quarterback. That's his peak. He's a system quarterback, and he's nothing more than that. And I think that's okay for the Browns. And I think that's okay because they're run heavy football team.
Exactly. Right, Max? Come on, man.
Come on, man. All right, he's not a franchise.
The other wild card matchups, guys, we got going on. What do we got? We've got I got the Steelers winning over the Browns. Then we have the Ravens versus the Titans. I got the Ravens winning that. What did you guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah, I got the Ravens. They have it right now. They're my sneaky team to go to the Super Bowl because, I mean, I said on week 1, what was it, week 4 of the TWSN kickoff show that I don't trust Baker in a playoff matchup. Mm-hmm. But it seems that they have it right now. I don't know how to explain it. The team just seems like they have it. And maybe it fizzles out, but like it wouldn't surprise me they go to the Super Bowl. They're not my Super Bowl pick. The Chiefs are. And I think the Bills will go to them before that.
Let me get this right. If the Ravens beat the Titans, the Ravens have to go play the Chiefs.
Correct. Which I don't like. I don't like that matchup at all for them. I think that's an awful matchup for them. However,
the Ravens.
Okay.
Yeah, the Ravens is an awful matchup for the Ravens. They don't match up well with them at all.
Lamar got to use that arm.
Yeah, but it just feels something about this team right now. It just feels like they might go on a run.
No.
But Joe, you said it yourself. You said it yourself. The Chiefs' defense is beatable, and exactly. I think that let's not count out the Ravens. I totally agree with Joe. Actually, I think the Ravens could be a sneaky Super Bowl pick. Think about all the years of hate that Lamar Jackson's gone. He hasn't won a football game. He's he's a one-dimensional quarterback. You make him throw the football, mistakes are going to happen. I don't know. This team has a little bit of bite to them, and look, I like them over the Titans. I wouldn't be surprised if Titans won because of their dynamic run game, but I do think the Ravens will win this game. And as much as I'm going to pick the Chiefs because I think the Chiefs are by far, I don't know about by far, but they are the best team in the AFC right now. I would not count out the Ravens at all to pull out an upset there. So it's possible. It's possible.
And they have a very good defense, man. They have a very good defense. I don't think we talk about that enough. Like their defense is probably better than their offense, and their offense gets all the love.
Do you know their passing defense has literally been one of the worst throughout the last 6 weeks? Do you know that?
It doesn't matter. I'll trust their defense over anything. I've seen that defense turn up.
No, I get it. I get it. But they're in the NFL. And listen, the game against the Titans is going to be intriguing. Let me tell you why. Because both teams are predicated on the run. Their entire thing is being able to run the ball efficiently. Certainly, we know the Titans can do it, and obviously, we know the Ravens can do it. We know the Ravens can do it. The fact is, at some point, you're gonna have to put that ball in there. You're gonna have to chuck it up. I think that the Titans can do that better than the Ravens can. I think that covering AJ Brown, Corey Davis, it's gonna be a real challenge. I really do. I think it'll be a real challenge. Can they do it? Certainly they could, but will it be a challenge? Absolutely. I'm just not ready to say right. Listen, I'm picking the Ravens to win this game, but it wouldn't shock. To Max's point, it wouldn't shock me if the Titans did come out on top. I'm not exactly sure how sure I am about this, but I'm pretty sure the Titans played the Ravens earlier this season and they won. The Ravens won.
Yeah, it was a walk-off touchdown in overtime by Derrick Henry.
And it's isn't this game in Tennessee?
It is.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Then we've got what are some other playoff matchups we got
Rams, Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
I personally like the Seahawks there, but only because we're still not sure about Jared Goff's availability.
You're a John Wolford believer?
I don't know, man. I don't know if he's the guy to get it done in the playoffs.
I think he's elite, man.
Hey, man. To those Baker people, he might seem elite too, So
yeah.
But look, I'm going to take the Seahawks only because I don't know about Jared Goff, and even if Jared Goff plays, is he 100%? He's coming off a thumb injury. I don't know, but I do think that Seahawks defense is beatable. But I'm going to still take the Seahawks. Yeah.
Absolutely. Daniel, who you got?
Going Rams. The Rams defense is absurd, right? The Rams defense, I was watching the games against Cardinals and watched a couple of two of their last 4 games. And first off, Aaron Donald, it's not even fair. And obviously the Seahawks defense, it's looked better, right? The past 6 weeks, they've definitely improved. But the reality is, I love what the Rams have on the offense side with the run game. And it obviously depends on Jared Goff because Warford is he gets the team motivated, but he's not a playoff quarterback, or as far as we know so far. But I'm confident in this Rams defense. I'm confident that Jalen Ramsey, who's right now probably the second best cornerback in the league behind Jair Alexander, in my opinion, is going to be able to make DK Metcalf work for his yards. I think that the Seattle Seahawks, yes, they have the better quarterback. Yes, they have the all-pro quarterback, but this Rams defense is legit, and I'm not going to count out the Rams.
So John Warford and the Rams beat the Seattle Seahawks.
Listen, I wasn't expecting them to beat the Cardinals, and the Cardinals are obviously not.
I want to know. I want to hear you say. I want to hear you say John Warford and the Rams are going to beat the Seattle Seahawks in the playoffs. That's what I want to hear you say. In Seattle.
I think it's a 50-50. I think right now the spread can't be more than 7 points. I'm going to take the Rams. I'm going to take John Warford and the Rams to beat the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, but you're predicating your argument on this myth that the Seahawks defense magically got good. Let's take a look at their last 6 opponents. Because you have the 49ers scored 23 on them, and the 49ers are beat up. The Rams scored 9. Okay, there's a good one. The Washington football team, I don't believe they had Alex Smith in that game, scored 15 on them. The Jets, they scored 3. The Giants beat them and scored 17. And then the Eagles, who've been awful this season, scored 17 as well.
Those aren't high numbers.
Those aren't quality. Those aren't great. Those aren't quality opponents. I'd like to see. I mean, yes, I think the Seahawks are going to beat the Rams because I think I'll take Russell Wilson in the playoffs. I think he's a top 3 quarterback. But that defense, they're not a Super Bowl team because of that defense. That defense is nowhere near good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't.
So another one we got is Bucks at Washington football team. That could be a sneaky good game, I think. I mean, with that dynamic defensive front seven, which is arguably the best in football, I think Tom Brady's in for a tricky one. I'm obviously going to take the Bucks to win this. I think they are indeed a Super Bowl contender. Hate me. But I do think that the Washington football team, listen, if there's a team out of that division, I can definitely give the Bucks a run for their money. It's the Washington football team and Alex Smith. Mm-hmm. So I think it'll be closer than people may think.
Their offense is abysmal. I'm sorry. Tom Brady, I'm going to say it, and I'm going to make a post on it. Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, they're my pick to win or to make the Super Bowl. I think that, first off, this obviously they're not going to win by 2 scores. I think that this Washington football team, their defense, they're going to make it a close fight. But the reality is, I can't trust Alex Smith in this offense. They're abysmal. Alex Smith, he's too conservative. And yes, it's a great feel-good story, but the reality is, in the playoffs going against one of the hottest offenses in the entire league, Tom Brady, yes, they probably won't have Mike Evans, but Antonio Brown's been playing good. 4 touchdowns in the past 3 games. Still got Chris Godwin.
Tony.
And like a lot of people are going to point to the lack of the run game. When has Tom Brady needed a run game? He's got the pass game, and I'm a firm believer that this Buccaneers team is going to go deep in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I'm picking the Bucks. What else we got, Max?
We also got Colts at Bills. I mean, listen, Colts are a good football team, but that team, I honestly believe, is very one-dimensional. I think if you eliminate that run game, I don't trust Phillip Rivers to win a football game by himself. So I'm going to take the Bills, and I think, the Bills, I don't know if I want to quite say they're my Super Bowl team yet, but I'm certainly heading that way.
Cue the music. How do I say goodbye from Boys to Men? Because this is the final game of Phillip Rivers. And what a career it has been. The Bills knock out the Indianapolis Colts, and it's the end of Phillip Rivers. It's the end of I'm looking over at Joe right now because Joe absolutely thinks Phillip Rivers is atrocious. He thinks he's overrated. Joe, didn't you say that you had Phillip Rivers going in as a Hall of Famer? Didn't you say that?
No, I did not.
What?
Phillip Rivers is not a Hall of Famer. No iconic moments in his career. None. 0. And he's not good. His most iconic moment is losing to the Patriots in the AFC Championship game. That's legitimately his most iconic moment. He's not a good quarterback. Bills are going to dog walk them.
Wow. I've heard you make that take before on the podcast. Yeah, he's not a Phillip Rivers, but I think it's because of the whole Big Ben, Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning draft class thing.
Not at all. I'm a big Eli guy. I think I feel like we need to put some respect on Eli's name. I feel like
no, I will not. No. I mean, he won 2 Super Bowls. I'm happy. Wait, he won 2. He won 2 Super Bowls. Yeah. No, he was an average quarterback at best. I think he ranks top 10 all time in interceptions in the NFL.
So you would put, if you're putting your top quarterbacks in the 2004 draft, Eli's third.
That's a tough position to put me in because we understand the career, how it turned out, but from honestly, if we're excluding the rings, Philip Rivers had a better career than Eli Manning. Yeah,
but you can't exclude the rings.
Exactly, which is why
it goes down to.
Exactly, but that's like saying Jamarcus Russell. Jamarcus Russell had a career, but he won 2 Super Bowl rings. Like that's like.
Yeah, but
how did Eli win the Super Bowl rings? That's the thing.
Yeah, he started. He had to start.
He started. Sure, Eli Manning was elite because like Giants fans used to always say, you can't spell elite without Eli. Eli Manning was elite in the playoffs. He was elite when he needed to be, but let's not kid ourselves. He had
a bad second half. They had a bad last 4 years, but other than that,
Eli Manning was never an elite quarterback, though. He was never one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
He was never top 5 in the league.
Never.
But he played in the era with the best quarterbacks. He played in the best quarterback era to date, to be fair.
Can we say that, though?
You play with Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Ben Roethlisberger. He's not getting into that top 5.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy how the Giants went from one meh quarterback to another meh quarterback?
That's wild. That's disrespect, man. Eli's not meh. You're saying meh?
He's very meh. He's very meh. Yeah,
he's good. He's good. He's not great, but he's good.
You're over here knocking Philip Rivers, but you're saying Daniel Jones is good.
No, I'm talking about Eli.
Daniel Jones is not a franchise quarterback.
Daniel Jones is not a franchise quarterback. He's a placeholder.
No, absolutely. I'm saying Eli's good.
Yeah,
Jones, Eli. If it wasn't for having elite defenses, Eli Manning would not be a Hall of Famer.
Okay, no one's debating that, but he's not meh.
But he's very much meh.
You could make that same argument for Ben Roethlisberger, and I love Ben.
No,
but Ben Roethlisberger
passed for damn near 5,000 yards. What do you mean?
Yeah, but Ben doesn't win those Super Bowls without his defense. You take those Super Bowl rings, just Philip Rivers. You take those defenses away, he's just Philip Rivers.
Big Ben has also had monstrous seasons where he's passed for almost 5,000 yards.
That was one season.
Regardless, Big Ben was literally. Did you not see him play? He was amazing.
I love Big Ben, but I'm saying if you take away those
Steelers
rings,
Nation, take your guy back.
If you take away Ben's ring, he's not a first ballot.
Eli Manning. This man just compared Big Ben to Eli Manning. Wow.
Okay, wait. What's the difference? Okay, like Philip Rivers and Big Ben. Besides,
you put up stats, Daniel, because we saw you typing it up.
Yeah, literally, Philip Rivers. He had 4,000 yards this season in a season where everyone's calling him a bum. That's obviously, I'm not saying.
I'm sticking up for Philip Rivers.
Oh, okay.
He's knocking Philip Rivers, saying that Philip Rivers is terrible.
I think Philip Rivers is I think you can make the case that he's a far better quarterback than Eli Manning.
Yes.
Far better.
Philip Rivers gets most of his numbers.
Ben Roethlisberger
I don't want to hear
is equally as. I think Ben Roethlisberger is also far better than Eli Manning.
He really hates Philip Rivers.
I know.
Wow, man, this is crazy.
He's a garbage time quarterback. He had LaDainian Tomlinson and Antonio Gates in one nada zip. I don't want to hear it.
Big Ben had Antonio Brown, Martavius.
Gave up 45 points to the Jaguars in 2017. I don't want to hear it.
I don't give a damn.
Defense is awful.
Big Ben had the triple Bs and did nothing.
He put up 42 in a playoff game and still lost.
Congratulations, you did nothing, and you did nothing, and they won nothing.
The defense was there. Let me not say anything.
You guys didn't even have a Super Bowl appearance with the triple Bs.
Should I get into the next matchup?
Should.
I'll get into the next one. So, Bears are gonna go to the Dome and play the Saints. I like the Saints. No question.
It is Drew Brees' swan song. It's
gonna be his farewell tour.
This is gonna be his farewell tour where he does not end up in the Super Bowl because they will lose when it matters.
Underachieving.
Yep.
We all agree. We all agree with that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So next one is, this is a good one. Browns and Steelers. What do you guys think? We've kind of talked about it a little bit, but what do you guys think?
Here we go, Steelers.
I don't know, man. I hope we win, but
he does this. Joe does this thing where he I don't know, man.
It's the reverse jinx. It's the reverse jinx. I do the same thing with the Fins. I do the same thing with the Fins.
And super, super nice about it. And you're like, oh, I feel bad. Let me pick the Steelers. And then he's like, yes. This is what I want.
No, I think we'll win, but like it's just not going to be easy. We never make things easy. It's gonna be closer than you think.
It'll be competitive. I think it'll be competitive. Sure.
But I think that also it was false. It was false hope with the Browns beating you guys this week. They're like, yeah, we beat the Steelers, only to play them next week and lose. Like it's
they beat us with Mason Rudolph starting. Man, they're terrible.
We almost lost.
I know they're hopeless. They're a hopeless franchise. I'm just worried.
TJ Watt didn't play. Cameron Hayward didn't play. Big Ben didn't play. I think this could be good.
Pouncey didn't play either.
Yeah, well, Pouncey.
He's kind of ass. He's kind of terrible now, though. But like that's for another topic. But I will say this: I'm just nervous that Baker gets one of those games where like that Tennessee game where they just went crazy. That's the one thing I'm nervous about. But other than that, we should.
But your defense isn't Tennessee's defense. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely. Well, Joe, we're gonna let you get out of here, my man. We want to appreciate you joining in on the call. I wish your Steelers no luck. I wish your Steelers no luck this upcoming weekend. But I like you, Joe. You're my guy. You can catch Joe on the TWSN football kickoff show alongside Max. They've got a show coming up, I believe, on what is it, Saturday?
We're still working on the date. We're still working on the date, but we'll have it up before the games.
They'll have a show coming out where they'll be talking about the upcoming playoff matchups, and they'll be discussing how the Steelers are going to lose. So, yeah, with that being said, Joe, thank you so much for joining us on the show, my man. Appreciate all the work you do.
Thank you for having me on, man. When
Absolutely.
we have that show, more Phillip Rivers slander on the way.
Oh, God. I'll be tuning in. Thanks, Joe, so much. Appreciate you joining us on the show. Guys, let's jump topics here. Let's start talking about Black Monday in the NFL. It's certainly one of the most trying times for coaches, families, and I almost view Black Monday like a cut down day in the NFL, where it's like, yes, like this guy got nobody ever really gets excited when a guy gets cut, but like sometimes you get those fans who are like, yeah, we get this bum off our team. We never wanted him in the first place, forgetting the fact that there are actually families behind these guys and different things of that nature. So it's always like a tough time, always a tough day. I want to talk to you guys about some of the best fits for some of these coaching positions. I'm going to run through these things because we got one more topic to get into after this. Max, I'm going to let you go first.
The enemy
okay. No, go ahead. Go ahead. I love it.
Okay. I'm sorry. I was going to say Bieniemy to the Los Angeles Chargers is my favorite fit. I think Pranav was the one that kind of got me onto this at first. Yeah. And looking into it, as much as I still don't know if Dean Spanos is, the owner of the Chargers, is going to really shell out that much cash, because I know Bieniemy is not going to go for cheap. Mm-hmm. I still think that from a fit perspective is absolutely perfect, because you give me Justin Herbert, who's a dynamic quarterback. We've already seen signs that he is incredible. With that receiving core and that offense, you get a guy that has helped nurture Patrick Mahomes to get into that situation, to use the same treatment on Herbert to make him equally as dynamic. I love it. I think it's great. Yes, I've heard the argument. I know Sean Johnabroff, one of the guys at TWSN, has posed the argument of bringing in like a Robert Saleh, more defensive-oriented coach to help fix those holes on defense, which I can understand that argument. I just think that if Justin Herbert plays at a crazy level under Bieniemy and that offense continues to be consistent and dynamic, I think the defense will fall through, and it's a question on coordinating, on the coordinators.
I think we've got to really temper our expectations for Bieniemy, though, low key. I really do, because I think Bieniemy, his offensive style, even though he's coming up from Andy Reid, if you go back to even his days where he was the coordinator at his alma mater, the dude is like literally just he likes to run the ball effectively. Like he's really big into running the ball, so I can almost see them taking a run first approach, like a super aggressive run first approach. So it'll be very tough for me to see, but it's tough for me to say, Eric Bieniemy is going to go out there and take Justin Herbert's game to a different height, to a different level. It's just tough. But I think Brian Daboll is a good fit. Is personally a good fit with the Chargers. Danny, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, like I was going to say Brian Daboll with Chargers. We talked about this, Malik. Bieniemy, if he goes to the Chargers, he's got to face his man, Andy Reid, 2 times a year in the same division. I don't necessarily know if that's going to be the right fit, so I'm going to take Daboll there. But I mean, besides that, I like how do you say Robert Saleh? I like him.
Robert Saleh. Mm-hmm.
Man, he's going to get a head coaching job. Let me think. I think the Texans, honestly, besides if Daboll or Bieniemy don't go to the Texans, right? Because obviously you want to pair Deshaun Watson with, one of the quarterbacks coaches. I think Salah to the Texans would be a good fit.
Yeah, okay. I can respect. I mean, I can get that. I personally see him. I forgot where I had him going in my predictions earlier today. I believe I had him going to the. Let me actually pull it up. No, I had Arthur Smith going to the Jets, the offense coordinator from the Tennessee Titans. I had the Falcons.
Joe Brady going anywhere?
No, I don't think Joe Brady gets a head coaching job just yet. But I do see him getting a head coaching job next year.
Did you see Salah to the Lions?
I think I might have. I'm pulling it up right now as I speak. I just see a scenario in which, like, so I had Chargers taking Eric Bieniemy. I had the Falcons going Marvin Lewis, actually. I had Lions going Robert Saleh. I had the Jaguars going Jim Harbaugh. I had the Texans going Brian Dable. And I had the Jets going Arthur Smith. Now, the reasoning for that is, and I want to run through these really, really briefly. I just think Eric Bieniemy, I could see a scenario in which the Chargers look at what Andy Reid is doing over there with the Chiefs and like, okay, let's recreate that. Marvin Lewis, I think he brings stability over to the Falcons, although I think Marvin Lewis will be good anywhere. I think he'll be good for the Jets. I think he'll be good for the Jaguars. He's a good rebuilder. It's just about the team taking the next step personally. And I think more than likely we see, we had Hugh Jackson on the show a few weeks back. I could see a scenario where Hugh Jackson comes in as the offensive coordinator. You want to pair Matt Ryan up with a strong offensive mind, a guy who is going to be there. Hugh Jackson, to me, it just makes sense because Hugh Jackson is getting, it's very unlikely a team takes a chance on him as a head coach just yet. It'll take some real repairing for him to get another shot as a head coach in the league. Jim Harbaugh, he has yet to sign a contract with the Michigan Wolverines. It says he's been trying to get back into the league, and I certainly. If I'm an NFL team, I would take him. I mean, the guy's never had a losing record in the league. His worst record was 8-8. Every year he took the Niners to, the NFC Championship, and they had one winning season since he's left. The 49ers have had one winning season without him, and that was year 3 of Kyle Shanahan. But Kyle Shanahan has a losing record still. The Texans, Brian Dable, he'll be a perfect fit for Deshaun Watson. He'll be able to spread the ball out and. I think that Deshaun Watson and the quarterback over at with the Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen, I think that they're very similar in skill sets and traits. And I think Arthur Smith is good for the Jets. I think Arthur Smith is not too complex. His system's not too complex. It's an efficient offense. You run the ball, you pass the ball, play action. You marry the running game with the passing game with the running game. I don't think it's that simple. And I think he'll be a guy that the Jets can grow with. He's not a flashy name, not necessarily an exciting name, but the Jets don't need that necessarily. They need somebody to be able to right the ship and keep things going, especially after the last few years of Adam Gase. So those are my picks, guys, for head coaching candidacy. Anybody have any hot takes with that, any of that? I don't think Joe Brady gets a head coaching job just yet. I think next year we see Joe Brady really get it. I think people are putting out fielders right now. You can always see a team jump the gun and pick them. But to me, I mean, I know he had 3,000-yard receivers, which was impressive. But to me, I just think that if you pick him right now, it's like you're really like you got to understand that you might not get bear the fruits of your labor right away. You might have to wait a year or two to actually see what he could be.
Could you see? Let's say Zach Taylor gets fired next year. Could you see Brady going there next year?
That's tough. I see a scenario where that makes sense, certainly. I don't necessarily know if the Bengals would do that. I just don't think the Bengals would go from one young, inexperienced offensive mind. Now, Joe Brady will definitely be more experienced than Zach Taylor was coming in. But I think that the Bengals would go more so for a guy that's proven. A guy that's been in the league, a guy that they're familiar with. So, if Zimmer has another down year with the Vikings, I could see them going Zimmer or going back to Jay Gruden. I mean, there's always an off chance that they can hire somebody who we've like a Joe Brady, but we'll see. It'll be very, very interesting how that shakes out. Guys, last topic of the day, boxing. Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Davis. Ryan Garcia shocks the world. He gets dropped. He got dropped by the guy he fought on Sunday, Luke Campbell. It shocked a lot of people. Well, I knew Ryan Davis hadn't necessarily. I said Ryan Davis. I knew Ryan Garcia hadn't been necessarily tested right away, but Ryan Garcia got dropped by Luke Campbell, and everybody seemed shocked. Everybody seemed, oh my God, we can't believe that just happened. But to me, it's like the guy hasn't been tested yet. You saw him get finally tested, and he got dropped. So I think the next question that that's got to be asked is, did Ryan Garcia make a believer out of you? After his recent fight of coming back, beating Luke Campbell, did he make a believer out of you?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think he's going through a positive trajectory. I'm not going to lie. At first, I wasn't the biggest fan of his. I thought, the fact that he's like always on Instagram and running his mouth and all that when he hasn't really been tested, I'm not a big fan of that. But now that he fought a real guy who I think could be a real champion in the future in Luke Campbell, I respected him. The fact that he got up and he was able to beat him the way he did with a body shot, it's impressive. I'm not going to lie. Now, who was it that he called out? Was it Gervonta Davis that he called out?
Yeah.
Good night, Ryan Garcia. Let's settle down. Let's keep improving. Let's keep getting some more marquee guys. I think Gervonta Davis would have a field day with this guy. But, I think in due time, that fight should happen in due time.
It sounds like it's going to happen because Ryan Garcia said he wants to be out by 25. He wants to retire by 25 years old. He wants to be out of the game of boxing by 25 years old.
All right. Okay.
I got one thing to say to that. You want to see a dead body? Because that's what you'll be seeing. You will literally see murder being committed on pay-per-view. That's what you'll be seeing. Because Gervonta Davis, if Luke Campbell dropped Ryan Garcia, let me explain something to you. I don't even know if Ryan Garcia will make it out of the second round with Gervonta Davis, to be completely honest with you. Gervonta can hit you with body shots. He can hit you, and literally, they literally call Gervonta Davis the featherweight Mike Tyson, the lightweight Mike Tyson. This is what they call him because of what he's able to do. Yeah, I don't think that's a bad matchup for
I think it's a good fight for boxing as a sport to help grow because Ryan Garcia is such a big brand. But, I mean, let's be honest, it's not a close fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is, I watched the fight. Luke Campbell, I'm not the biggest boxing guy. I don't necessarily know if Luke Campbell has that knockout power, or maybe he has in the past. Didn't look like he had a ton of power, but when you watch Gervonta Davis, man, it's just go search up his name on YouTube. You'll see Gervonta Davis has the power. And Ryan Garcia, I'm glad that he finally got dropped. I'm glad he finally got that experience. But the reality is, once he faced Gervonta Davis, it's gonna be power, 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 power. And I'm sorry, pretty boy Ryan Garcia, I can't be confident in you, man. Like
Gervonta Davis tweeted out, Ryan Garcia walks into shots. Sometimes he just walks into shots. And I think he'll find himself walking into a big uppercut. And we certainly know when Gervonta's uppercut lands, he has an opportunity to put you out, as he just had a knockout of the year type highlight back a few months back. So yeah, Ryan, I would stay away from that fight. Before we jump out of here, guys, Max, it's almost time. Conor McGregor versus Dustin the Diamond Poirier. I'm excited for it, man. I can't wait for it. I really am. I feel Conor wins this fight. I genuinely feel like Conor wins this fight, and I think he wins it early. However, Dustin Poirier, man, I think that the fact that they're fighting at lightweight, before they fought at featherweight, it certainly favored Conor, I believe, when they fought before. I just think that I think Dustin's gonna be able to take Conor shots. I think Dustin's gonna be able to take Conor shots a little bit better. And if Conor finds himself in a dogfight with Dustin, I don't know if that goes well for him. What do you think, Max?
Give me Dustin Poirier in a decision.
Oh my God.
Give me Dustin Poirier in a decision, because you know what? As much as I want to root for Conor McGregor, I know that, if he were to win this fight, the fact that if he were to stay active this year, would be huge for the UFC, especially hopefully if they start bringing fans back. I just like Dustin Poirier. I think he's the bigger guy. Mm-hmm. I think he's built for this fight. He's been a lot more active than Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor hasn't fought in a year. Okay, he's fought anybody, and this is not just he didn't leave for boxing. He hasn't fought in a year, right? He fought Cerrone, which I respect Cerrone. I love Cerrone, but he's not at the level of Dustin Poirier. And also, Dustin Poirier lost to him. Dustin Poirier lost to him early in his career, and people have kind of dismissed Dustin Poirier as dominated this amazing fighter because of that loss. And I think he wants to avenge that loss, and I'm going to take him in a decision victory.
Daniel.
Well, you know how much I love McGregor. I'm not the biggest UFC guy. I'm a huge McGregor guy, though. So Poirier's last fight, was that against – who was that against? Was that –
Dan Hooker, and that was a classic.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, and I mean, to be honest, I want to see a McGregor knockout. I've seen McGregor knock out so many guys. This is a fight. Is this next weekend or the weekend after?
It's about 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, it's about 2 weeks. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take McGregor. I'm gonna take McGregor in a knockout. Yeah, I'm not the biggest UFC guy, but I want to see McGregor, my guy.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out. Guys, I want to thank you so much for tuning into the show this week and each and every single week. Greatly appreciate all the support. We all weren't on the show last week, due to other reasons and things of that nature, but we're certainly back and we're excited to start this year strong. We have no off season, guys, so we'll be here literally every single week with you guys through the off season. We'll find things to talk about throughout the off season. We'll find ways to keep you guys engaged, and certainly tons of draft coverage and all that kind of stuff coming up. And then we'll carry that right into the season. Got guys covering the Senior Bowl, going to the NFL Combine. Got a lot of stuff going on here at the TWSN. Want to thank you so much for your support. Make sure you download the TWSN mobile app and everything. But before we get out of here, I want to thank you guys, Max and Daniel, Jake. I want to thank you guys certainly because this is certainly not easy. It's not easy to do each and every single week, and this was a trying year. And if I don't know if I necessarily had the opportunity to thank you guys, but I went from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate everything that you guys bring here at TWSN and everything that you bring to the show each and every single week, guys. You guys make it worthwhile, and this is why you guys are the reason why I do what I do. So I genuinely want to say thank you to you guys for sticking with us here and obviously being committed and putting on a show each and every single Tuesday night. So I appreciate you guys so much and the work that you guys have put in. Appreciate you guys, for sure. With that being said, guys, we'll see you next week here live on the Wrightway show, where we have, like I said, so much more to talk about, so much more to get into. But guys, like I said, catch us every single Tuesday night, 8 p.m. live. Make sure you download TWSN mobile app. Follow us on Twitter, TWSN, Instagram, TWSN. And as always, guys, the show will go on. See you next week.